to the e-commerce series where we're going through some different key things that you need for your Shopify e-commerce store. So this one here is all about things that you need to have as a business owner prepared for when you launch your Shopify store. This is super important, particularly for the business owner, especially if you are looking to outsource some components. These bits are really critical for you to do. So let's get started on all the things that you need. So the first thing is that you're going to need, if you are in Australia, a business ABN, which is your Australian business number. So in order for you to get that sorted, please just refer to this website here where you can sort of get that underway and sorted. So you can put yourself as a sole trader, a partnership, or even as a company. So have a think about how you want to get started in the business and what that amounts to. Perhaps you need to speak to an accountant first, but yeah, get that sorted. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to buy your domain. So you can actually buy your domain through Shopify. So if you did want, you can start creating your Shopify account and you can just follow the prompts to start a free trial. And then once you kind of go through the prompts of that and you do have your business ABN, then you can go and select your domain through Shopify. You can also use other providers as well. I'm sure you're familiar with websites such as GoDaddy, Crazy Domains, so that's absolutely fine as well. It just involves an extra step of transferring the domains across. I get asked this quite often, like which one do I pick? Like what provider is the best? And honestly, it kind of comes down to price, what the terms of their agreement is, and how comfortable you feel with the platform in general and the kind of the trust that you have within that business. So definitely make sure that you're reading the fine print of all of those third parties, just making sure that once your say like year offer is over at that beautiful, attractive rate, that you then don't get slammed with like a really premium fee. So just kind of weigh up your options. Obviously having it straight away on Shopify and then having a Shopify site is really good because then everything's in one place. However, do your research and see what kind of comes as the most affordable rate for you. Because as you know, some domains can cost $12, some can cost thousands of dollars. So just do your research and yeah, that's all I can say on that one. So if you do buy your domain from a third-party provider, then it's about transferring your domain across. And so I'd be here all day if I had to give you every single third party and how to transfer it across to Shopify. However, what I can recommend is simply doing a quick Google. These third parties are designed so that you basically can transfer it between different platforms. So definitely see what the frequently asked questions of that particular third party says about how to transfer it. You can, if you're like, I'm so confused, you can definitely outsource this component or just really follow the steps, as it usually is only like a 3 or 4 step process to get it transferred across. After you get your domain, and actually maybe even before you hit that checkout and like pay button, make sure that that name is also available in like a favorable way on your socials, because nothing can be worse than going, yes, I get the best domain, and then you're trying to look for like the ideal Instagram handle and it's not available. So before you even hit that checkout button, so I don't know if this comes like a step before or like in the same time as you deciding on your domain, but then also check your Instagram social handles to make sure that it's available. You don't want to get caught out with that. I have seen that in the past, so be cautious with that one. So then, yes, you are going to go through and create that Shopify free trial from there. So just follow all the prompts. You will need to kind of answer some basic information about yourself and also give the store name. So make sure you follow all of those. Then once you get through the Shopify free trial, I do advise paying for the trial straight up. So you then don't get caught out when it says your trial is over and you don't see the email, or perhaps you're getting started at quite a really fast pace. And then all of a sudden you might lose some work because you didn't see that the free trial had ended. So my advice, go straight away and pay for a certain plan that Shopify offers. There is a really great basic plan. Like I know so many sites that start on that first one, and then as they start to really gain momentum, they then lean into the other sorts of plans. So I believe that for the first plan, it is around 28 USD per month. So definitely start on that one. I think that if you are serious about starting an online store, 28 USD isn't going to break your bank, but it is worth it for obviously the hosting platform and everything that it can provide for you. So get off the free trial is all I can say. Then once you've done that, you're then going to input your payment details. So that's things such as, what bank account you want to get paid into once a customer fulfills their order. And then also Shopify has an amazing partnership with PayPal that you can then basically, it makes you a PayPal account. You can obviously change it if you're like, hey, I already had an existing one. But for a lot of people starting a brand new Shopify store, it may be your first time that you're getting a PayPal for that ABN. So they do all the hard work for you. you, and you can basically go in and just sort of confirm that account and then start receiving payments from PayPal, which we know is a very popular payment option. Now, I will say with something like Afterpay, generally you need to go through an approval process for Afterpay. So it is recommended that once the site is live and not having the password protect, that you then apply for Afterpay, as they have to go and review the site to make sure that it's like a valid site to contain Afterpay. So that would be my advice there, because I do get that asked a lot. And yes, it would need to be reviewed by the Afterpay team before getting set live. So recommendation, Afterpay may come after the launch, and that's okay. So next, you're going to sort out what your shipping provider is and make sure that you install an app that's related to that. You might not ultimately need the app, but let's just say you're using something like Sendle or Shipit or Ozpost. It is recommended that you kind of get an idea of what your shipping provider is going to be for your product. So that can totally depend on what your product is. I can't really give you my ultimate recommendation. I mean, obviously I've just said those 3 brands there, which I think is a great start, but it really just depends on what you are offering, what you go with. But I would definitely try and speak to an account manager in any of those sort of spaces, see if you can negotiate rates, but also see if they can really guide you through the process on the best practice for your store on how you can best utilize their company to get what you want out of it, which is obviously a seamless process from when an order is created to when it's shipping it out. And having an account manager can really just help you guide you, like, okay, how do I get to that label point, and like what printer should I get and what do you recommend? And these guys can be so helpful and well worth the investment trying to get someone kind of on the phone, or at least like thoroughly chatting to you in like a chat format or email to really help you out with these steps. Now we're on the topic of shipping. I think it's important to decide what your shipping prices are going to be. So once you've spoken to those providers and gotten a bit of understanding about how much it's going to be to ship, then think about what your sort of shipping options are going to be towards the customer. So this is definitely something that's got to come from the business owner, because you are sort of in charge of what the kind of margins and P&Ls looking like at the end of the day. So my biggest advice here would be, okay, if it's going to cost me, a $4 product and then the shipping is $13, you're better off making the product like $17 or $15 and then free shipping, as opposed to $4.99 and then $13.99 shipping. From a psychology point of view, shipping is something that we ultimately don't really want to pay, but if we do need to pay it, we don't want it to be out of water. It's just going to really drop your conversion. So I would just really play around with the pricing of what your product is going to be, and then also think about what would be an achievable amount for your customers. Perhaps that you can do free standard, but you do charge for express, or maybe you just really want to, deliver the ultimate experience and it's free express, but just making sure that that actually aligns with what your product pricing is and that it's okay with you and your margins to absorb that cost. All up to you, but you can also go into the shipping part of settings and then change that there. And also think about international as well. And obviously if it's applicable for you to dispatch overseas, think about what those international rates will be with the providers that you choose. The next thing is going to be your about page. So, as much as you want to outsource your website, there is a critical component, which is your tone of voice and who you are and what the store is about. So I think that this should really come from the business owner at the end of the day. Even if you're not the best writer in the world, it can always be, rejigged a little bit, but I think it has to have your vision and your energy and just a little bit about, what the store is about. So I would encourage you to start thinking about what that page looks like, but also what you want to talk about and accomplish, so that, people can understand what your product is. Next would also be for the products that you bring in, it's about thinking about the product description. So once again, this could be outsourced as well, but I think no one's gonna know your product better than yourself. And unless you have the full script of what that product is and all the things that contain it, sometimes when you're starting the Shopify store, it's best if the business owner kind of takes the reins here, as they kind of know all the negotiations that they've had with their suppliers. So I would recommend for each product that you're bringing in to develop a beautiful description. The best way to get, what do I put in? Have a look at what other sites do. What do their descriptions look like and how can I make it similar? The next thing is a frequently asked questions page, which usually exists in the footer depending on the business, but there are going to be some questions and some objections that you do need to tackle and cover. So I would recommend thinking about what would be the most commonly asked questions about your business and then looking to develop a frequently asked questions page. That page can be outsourced, but the bulk of the component of those questions should actually be thought about by the business owner and answered by the business owner to ensure that all those questions are answered, to avoid people exiting the page because they didn't get their question answered. Also a contact page. I think it's super important that you are, there for your customers and that you can provide a customer service option. So think about what you want that contact form on the contact page to have. Could be as simple as, I just need your name, your email, and what your request is. Or perhaps you're like, there are so many elements of my business and I would actually like if it was a little bit more segmented to save me some time. So if that's the case, really think about what you want to achieve. And then there is a contact form page option on Shopify that can be created. So it's just about, once again, you creating that page or outsourcing that page to be made. But on your end as a business owner, think about what you want to accomplish in that form and then go from there. Next one, I love this one, visual branding assets. So really think about what logo you're going to have, what fonts, what colors, what you want the aesthetic and the layout to be like. That's going to be really important that that tone of voice does come somewhat from the business owner, or at least is briefed in a way to an agency that they deliver on what your vision is. You are the business owner at the end of the day, so I do think you should have some input into what this looks like, even if it's not your specialty or your expertise, just somewhat of a feel to make sure that what you get back or what you end up creating is in line with what your vision is. So yes, get those visual branding assets over either for yourself to make the build or to the agency that's going to be making it for you. Huge one, get your content. So this can kind of be the easiest or hardest step depending on who you are, but I would say that you cannot launch this website without having some form of a photo shoot of the actual products or the target personas that you want to target, like in some of the products as well, or on the homepage to really show who you're targeting. So that would be a huge one, and it's something that we do kind of need early on. So you as the business owner or whoever you outsource to help you do it, I do recommend that you get a content shoot organized for all of it, and definitely before you launch that store. I know it's so tempting to be like, I just want to launch, but if you don't have any imagery of what you're selling that's native to you, it's just going to be harder to sell because people are very aware of something stock image like, or comes straight from the supplier. It's well worth the investment for you to have that shoot go ahead, even if you just need to do it yourself to get started. And also have a look at the different themes that are available on Shopify. They are amazing. There are some really beautiful ones out there, and you can also have a look at what competitors who do have Shopify use through an app called Koala Inspector. It's actually not an app, actually, it's a Chrome extension. It's completely free, and you can actually have a look and see what theme competitors are using. Sometimes they'll be custom, so obviously you can't know what the custom theme is, but some just use the generic themes that are available through the developers on Shopify, and they are incredible. We use them all the time in our business and see really great results from them. So yes, have a look through the theme library, see what really captures your eye, and then once again, obviously you can start from there and purchase your theme, or you can get the agency to sort of, pick which one's based on your preference. But that's gonna be really important. The aesthetic and layout is a big part of the business. Okay guys, that's all I have time for what the business owner should think about before launching the Shopify store. So quite a bit of things in there. There's obviously a lot of things that are, more details that could have been mentioned, but I do think that this is a solid amount of steps that the business owner should do before launching an e-commerce store on Shopify. If there's anything that I missed, please do leave a comment down below. I would love to hear what else you guys have in mind that you think that it's the business owner's responsibility to have organized. I know that there's definitely going to be more, but I thought that these were some really critical ones to think about. If you do like these videos, remember to like my channel because it really supports it, or don't like the channel, like the video, but you can also like the channel in general. That's pretty cool too. Make sure you're subscribed as well, and then if you do want to see every new video that comes from this channel, then make sure you hit the notification bell so that you're notified. And yeah, I will see you next time, and I hope that this has helped some of you out on your e-commerce journey. Bye!